This episode of Tekzilla is brought to you by Domain.com.
So I've been using my iPhone 5 for a solid week and a half now, and it's time to let you guys know what I'm liking and what I'm not quite liking all that much. But let's start on a positive note. LTE. So
4G LTE.
The 4G LTE is blazing fast right now.
AT&T or Verizon?
AT&T.
Okay.
And I stayed with AT&T mostly because I'm grandfathered into the unlimited data plan, so I wasn't quite willing to give that up yet. I mean, it is going faster sometimes than my business class Comcast at home.
Oh, funny.
Like we clocked 40 megabits down recently. I think something like 15 up. Just really, really fast. Good stuff. I mean, it's almost faster sometimes than my Wi-Fi at home, so I'm happy with that.
I hope that AT&T builds out that network so that as more and more 4G devices come, or 4G LTE devices come online, it doesn't do what the 3G network did, which is go,
Although sometimes the weirdest thing happens. Even though I'll have full bars, even though everything will be great, I have great reception, it just stops working. Like no data at all, nothing is working properly. Sometimes I'll turn it off and it'll work. I don't know, I mean, it feels like when you're at a convention and even though you have full bars, you're getting the reception, there's just not enough bandwidth. So I don't know if that's the issue.
There's certain neighborhoods in San Francisco that AT&T
this was downtown.
just gets crushed.
I mean, it should work downtown. Coming from an iPhone 4, the screen is a really huge upgrade. I'm loving the clarity. Most of my favorite apps are taking advantage of the longer screen, which is nice, and the screen real estate is super great when you're scrolling, for example. The downside is that, frankly, I'm having a hard time tapping items at the very top of the screen to scroll back up, for example, after I've been down at the bottom, either reading things or typing. It's kind of like hand gymnastics. My hands just aren't big enough to make that
like
stretch.
Trying to use a single hand operation.
Yeah, like sometimes I don't really know how to demonstrate unless I'm actually doing it, but I'll have to be like, like slide it down, get up at the top, then like wiggle it back, especially if you're just using it one-handed for some reason.
That's one of the things I've noticed. I mean, it's not like my hands are small, but as the screen sizes on phones get really huge, they suddenly go from being I can do anything with one hand to it is a two-handed device. And all of a sudden I have a baby and a phone that I need to do this with.
Yeah, so there's some practicality issues there a little bit, but it is very nice to look at. The noise canceling is great. The iPhone 5 is equipped with 3 microphones to aid in noise cancellation. There's one on the bottom, there's one at the top, and I think there's one on the back somewhere. I have noticed a pretty big difference in call quality, which is significant because, I mean, that's what a phone is there for. It is for making phone calls, and they should sound okay. So finally, the little lightning port at the very bottom, it's smaller, it's more elegant. It doesn't matter which way you plug it in. They figured that part out. But I'm still mad at the fact that I have to buy all new cables and adapters. That part really annoys me. I think I cleaned out the local Apple store of cables already. And it's just a pain. And the fact that you can't buy cheaper cables on something like Monoprice because they have the authentication chip built in.
We've taken the pain in the delete expletive authentication chip from the devices you're plugging into and moved it into the cable to make everything less convenient.
From a technical standpoint, I understand why they're doing it, but from a consumer standpoint, it's kind of a bad move. I was going to use a different word, but I didn't. So anyway, there's definitely plus and minuses. There are people out there in the tech industry that I'm very surprised that are saying that they're not a huge fan of this phone right now, which is something you don't usually hear all that often. And I love it, and it's a great upgrade for an iPhone 4 user. But you know, if you have a 4S and if iOS 6 is working okay for you, and if you're not map dependent, for example, then you should be okay. Like I said, there's a lot of features in iOS 6 that I am enjoying, like the Do Not Disturb function, for example, is one of my personal favorites, but we'll save that for another day, I think. There's a lot of stuff in iOS 6 that we could discuss.
It was interesting, Tim Cook's letter came out the tail end of that week, was like, you expect us to do better, we'll fix maps, and it's been funny watching people being divided. Like you're saying, there's a lot of people you expected to be really excited about the iPhone 5 or not really excited, and everybody, it was funny, like I think the lead story on Tech Meme, like the lead line on Tech Meme, Mapgate is over, Apple won, customers won, Google not so much. And it's so funny to see who's sucking up to who, what given week.
Yeah, I mean, maps are a super important feature, obviously, and it's something that I think a lot of us have grown very dependent on in our day-to-day. So having a maps that doesn't work the way you expect it to, and with any kind of accuracy, and sometimes just putting you in the wrong spot completely, is obviously not a good thing. So hopefully they'll fix that. If not, there are other alternatives out there.
We went over the list
last
week.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
We can fix this.
Yes, we will fix this, we promise. There's more Tekzilla. Tekzilla coming right up, but before we do that, it's time to thank one of our sponsors.
「
Veronica 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144
Got an idea for your next website? Well, jump on a domain name now while it's still around. And I'm sure you're going to go with the .com because no matter what name you choose, chances are people are automatically going to type in the .com anyway. Globally understood and immediately gives credibility to your website. And where's the easiest place to get one of those? Domain.com. Robert just bought a couple this week. I've been buying a couple. It's the best place to go for your next great idea. Find a new .com domain at domain.com. We on the show here like domain.com because they're affordable, reliable, easy to use, and don't sponsor legislation that crushes the internet. Plus, domain.com's active social media presence. They're on Twitter, of course, at domain.com. They got great customer support, and that makes it a fun place to do business. And because Tekzilla fans are so awesome, domain.com is giving you an awesome coupon code. Get a big 20% discount off domain.com's already low prices. Use the coupon code Tekzilla when you check out at domain.com. 20% off, folks. Big time savings. Don't forget, give the Tekzilla coupon code some love at domain.com.